All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. This is a very special. Let's talk Battletech again. This time we're going to be talking about the clans with Big Red M38. Mind if I just call you Red?
Howdy, howdy.
Yep. Mind
Yep,
if I just
that's
call you
fine for
Red?
with me.
Yeah. Just hit your just hit mute on the YouTube side. That way, you don't have the bounce back. Uh, since you only got a short period of time to talk, we'll just hit the ground running. Uh, so you were on the Discord was asking about various clans. Uh, what's the biggest thing that you're wanting to know about right now? Because
Okay, there we go. Sorry, had to find that window. Um, well, speaking, can I mention the professor's Discord here?
sure, go ahead.
Well, speaking in the professor's or Professor Haitian, for anybody who doesn't know, his Discord, there
Mm-hmm.
was talk about, you know, probably too many clans at the time, and making them all unique enough to make them worthwhile being in the story.
Yep.
How many of your viewers know of the professor's fifth succession war?
Oh, that's brand new. Nobody really knows about it. Uh, you were asking questions about the various clans and what
Mm,
made them
yes.
different. Now, for example, you ask about the duelist, uh, and that if you're wanting to go duelist, that is the Nova Cats and the Goliath Scorpions. They have had a rivalry since their foundings as being the best marksmen.
Hmm.
Uh, they take great pride in the fact the majority of them turned the targeting computers off in their mechs. That they refuse to use their targeting computers. Um, the Coyotes are a folk for such a tradition minded clan. They are very open minded when it comes to technology. I mean, they are the ones that created the OmniMech technology,
Hmm.
but they're and but like I said, they're very tradition minded. The only real cased uh, mobility that they have is they focus so much on their scientist cast in developing new shit. It's probably one of the reasons why they were pretty much their trueborn scientists made up the majority of the society because they were that forward looking when it came to science and engineering and coming up with the next big thing. But they
So,
were, as a fighting force, more all arounders. They didn't focus on just one single branch, be it uh, mech warriors, elementals, aerospace, or infantry. All of their forces are well balanced. While they're nowhere near as combined arms as, say, the Ghost Bears, or even anywhere close to a pure combined arms force, which was the Hell's Horses.
so the coyotes, you would say they're they're balanced but separate.
Yes, the they are very tradition bound because of their founder, Dana. I don't know how to say her name. Kafal. She was a true believer in Nicholas's ideal of what the clans were supposed to be, and everything that she decided to do. And hey, Big Tanky's here. Welcome, Big Tank.
What's up?
Not much.
Howdy,
Okay.
howdy.
Now the Hell's Horses, like I said, was a from the start a combined arms, mainly because its founder was an infantryman. You had, let's see, Smoke Jaguar was all about overwhelming force and brutality. Many of these clans would take their totem animal to heart.
Hmm.
Now, the Star Adders, on the other hand, did not. The Star Adders was created by two cons who were very different. One, for one, the main con of the still of the Star Adders, he was literally given free reign and was able to pick whoever he wanted out of the first 800 warriors. Because Nicholas trusted him that much. He was also Alexander Kerensky's primary intelligence and operations planner. This man thought not just a couple of moves ahead whenever he played chess. This dude thought the whole game out before he sat down.
Yes, Absalon.
Yes, he was a planner. Okay. Even though it's not an official cast in the Star Adders, intelligence analyst is a subcast in their warrior cast makeup.
Hmm.
Just like the Snow Ravens and the Nova Cats had naval commander uh, cast within the warrior cast. Because remember, before they got kicked out of clan space, the Nova Cats had the second largest naval force in the clans. So much so that they maintained bloodlines that were naval officers, just like the Snow Ravens did. Uh, in many ways, the Nova Cats were rounders, well rounders. They didn't focus just on one cast. They made sure everybody had their place. But they were, like I said, marksmen. That their warriors are kind of like the way the United States Army is when it comes to taking great pleasure in their ability to put lead or proton energy on a specific target at any point in the world. Um, Ghost Bears also are a good rail well rounded clan, but they do focus a lot on their elementals. Their elementals, the only other clan that had better elementals than the Ghost Bears was and still is the Hell's Horses, because the Hell's Horses put so much emphasis on making sure their elementals could keep up with their battle mechs on the battlefield. And in many ways, that was some of the strife that existed between the Smoke Jags, the Ghost Bears, and the Hell's Horses. Because remember, the Smoke Jaguars were all about overwhelming force and brutality. The only other clan that came close to that mindset was the Widowmakers. And we all know what happened to the Widowmakers. They
Yes.
overstepped their bounds, and the wolves slapped their peepees in the mud and then started stomping until there was just paste left in the mud. Um,
Ouch.
yeah, And the Widowmakers kind of knew they deserved it. But each clan had its own unique outlook on the way that Nicholas had came up with for the clans. And as I said on the Discord, the Star Adders are literally the only clan that did not deify the Kerinskis. They saw the Kerinskis as being enlightened, but not perfect. And they are the one clan that actually took the time to read the Wolf Dragoons reports that were being sent back and actually took them seriously. That's why whenever it came time to launch Operation Revival, the Star Adder said, we can't do this piecemeal. We've got to do this as a whole. The clans as a whole has to do this because it's not going to be as easy as you think. It's also the reason why when everybody laughed at them and wouldn't listen to them, they said, fine, we'll be the ones that judges who goes then. That's why they didn't have any forces that they put up for Operation Revival. And their long-term planning and their strategic mindset, only the Wolves came close to it. And mainly, they kept stressing the only reason why the Wolves came close to it was because of one person. Do you know who that was?
That was Ulrich, wasn't it?
Exactly. Ulrich Kerensky had the Kerensky vision, i.e., he could see outside of the box and he could see what the future could be. And a lot of the other clan bloodlines desperately wanted the Kerensky vision to be tied into their bloodlines, but the wolves were extremely protective of it. I mean, they wouldn't even share the Kerensky bloodline for the Kerensky vision with other blood houses within Clan Wolf. It was an exclusive to the Kerensky bloodline. This innate ability to look past the clan's stratification of mindsets. Now, each clan had its own flavor, and it's one of the reasons why it made me laugh whenever there's too many clans and to be for each of them to be unique, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because they were each unique. Look at the blood spirits. Okay, blood spirits to me had so much promise to be because they were created, and Nicholas named them the blood spirits after the spirit of the core that all of the clan warriors had while he was first establishing the clans. Before he came up with the concept of dividing them up into clans, they were all one group. And he named the blood spirits after this. And the original blood spirits, that the first generations of the blood spirits, took this, they saw it as their mission to be the bridge to all of the clans. That's why they had created the Ilchi position, which was an ambassador that would go and try to mediate between the clans so they wouldn't have to resort to just blowing each other up whenever they had problems. And of course, we saw how that turned out thanks to the meddling of who? The Widowmakers. And a couple of other ones that just said, oh, they're weak. Let's go and pound the living bejesus out of them. And it turned the blood spirits into being the most outgoing and let's get along of clans to becoming isolationist, xenophobic, and closed-minded of clans. Then you had the Steel Vipers and what formed them into what they became.
Hold up.
Okay.
So the question is now this could be a result of bad writing.
Mm-hmm.
How much have the blood spirits been allowed to come out and to be the mediators, to be the uniters?
That's just it. After what ended up happening even before the start of the Golden Century, that turned them into isolationists. They had very rare occasions to come out of hiding or interact, and those interactions were done with the fire mandrels, who, thanks to them, the fire mandrels, that is how the blood spirits was able to attain omnimech technology. They also had trade contacts with the snow ravens, if I remember right. This allowed interactions. Thus, you've got two Ilchis that were sent out, one to go to the fire mandrels and one to go to the snow ravens. So they would have communications with the other clans. But yes, there was times, I can't remember, but I think one of the groups that preyed on the blood spirits the most was Clan Burrock. Yes, it was Clan Burrock, because the one thing that brought the blood spirits out of their isolation was when the revelations that Clan Burrock had been dealing with the bandit caste, and they wanted so bad to be the ones that got to absorb the Burrocks. They literally actually showed up in person to the Grand Council meeting for that vote, and they wanted it so bad it wasn't even funny. It's one of the reasons why when the Star Adders got it, it cheesed off the blood spirits so much. That's why it was called. They literally declared war on Clan Burrock and Clan Steel Adder, and was throwing everything they had at the two of them, which is one of the reasons why the Star Adders was so lenient with the former Burrock clan warriors, because the two had to end up joining forces to fight the blood spirits, and even then it was a hard fight. And so yeah, the blood spirits, if they weren't so isolationist and had been allowed to actually be the mediators that they had originally intended on being, things would have been a whole lot different in the clans. It's one of the reasons why in my own alternative Battletech, my version of the Wars of the Reaving was very different. That instead of the Fire Mandrill getting elected Khan and then killed pretty much right afterwards, it was Katrina Smith, the Khan of Blood Spirit, who got elected as
Cariana. Wasn't it Cariana
yeah,
Schmidt?
I think so. She got elected. In my setting, she was the one who got elected, and she ended up going through reforms. And one of the biggest reforms was trying to save the fire mandrels from themselves. She's like, she used the fire mandrels as an example of what could happen to the entirety of the homeworld clans if they didn't wake up and re-embrace the way, the unity. And so they were able to get the clans to all to come together, to work together to help the fire mandrels to retire the kindred associations that so divided it and create
The way, the
yeah.
unity.
And so they helped get rid of all the craziness.
Yeah.
That was the fire mandrels, because the fire
Hey,
mandrels' biggest defining attribute was the chaos of the fire mandrels. They were fighting each other more than they were fighting anyone else. They were the very example of what was wrong with what the clans had become. Uh, like I said,
hey, real quick there, boss man. If you'll indulge me for a second, it's been
go
a
for it.
long time since I've used StreamYard, and I'm
Mhm.
on a mobile device with my headset, just like I do with ATN. So since his likes to cut me off when I leave the screen, what I'm just going to be talking and see what happens when I hit go away. Can you hear me still?
Yep, I can still hear you.
So I'm still in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Now you've disappeared.
Yeah, he's still
Okay,
here, but
so
he can't heard
so
for a
so
second.
so I minimized this window. I minimized this screen, and I went and pulled up the Bamboo Handy app to try and start printing this Battletech gantry for tomorrow, and it completely cut me off. Is that so?
Yep,
Um, isn't that amazing? Amazing.
yep.
Become the Jesse Lee Peterson of Battletech. But okay, so I just need to stay in here and not be talking when I go to pull up Handy. But otherwise, I do stay in the chat
Sweet.
Yes.
or still in the session or whatever we call these things.
Yes.
Yep. Let me see if I can
Fair
make this
enough.
better. Which looks better? No. I think we'll go with that one. Yeah. Okay.
That one looks cool because it kind of looks like we're all little chat bubbles in the heads up display.
Yep. Now, BattleTech, like I said, this is one of the things I've been into BattleTech since 1985,
Mhm.
and it's one of my favorite settings.
Yeah.
BattleTech to me has so much life and flavor in it. And it's always been diverse. It's always been pretty cool. I read all of the house books when they came out. And it freaks me out when all these people say, well, it was always this, or this. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I still remember one of the first house books I read was reading through it because it read like such just awesome history book. And it was referring to one of the commanders of one of the units and his husband. Let that sink in for a moment. It was talking about a commander of a regiment and his husband. Not her husband. At first, I thought it was a typo until I went back and reread it. Nope, it said his husband because it kept saying he was a dude. So, and this was back in the 80s, guys. So that, and
I
the
think
way
we're getting into something a little bit different here.
I
But
know,
there's
I'm just saying,
amazing.
I'm
Sorry?
just saying, this is one of those things that I love this setting from the very start.
Mhm.
And I'm tired of people lying about it. Now, let's get back to the clans here.
Fair
Each
enough.
clan was unique. Each clan had its own unique flavor. You had the Cloud Cobras. Okay, the Cloud Cobras are your aerospace, the ones that focus the most on aerospace.
Yeah.
All right, that comes from from their start. If you remember, they lost a large amount of their ground forces during Operation Klondike and the period right afterwards. Uh, the Snow Ravens ended up becoming the naval superpower, not just because its first Khan was the last admiral of the Star League Defense Force that was still in operation back then. It also came about because of what happened when the clans decided to destroy the Wolverines, because the Wolverines were basically showing that the clans could actually succeed if they loosened up the civilian cast and allowed a little bit more fluidity amongst their civilian cast. Which I'm a speechifying again. Which ironically was something that the wolves adopted after they completely annihilated the Wolverines. That was one of the reasons why the wolves are so flexible. Was they adopted McReady's policies, and it allowed the wolves to become the standard bearer for the rest of the clans. Wild as that is, because the Wolverine,
We will destroy you for this, and afterwards we will do it ourselves and become the greatest ever because of it.
exactly, and
Yeah, fair enough.
the Wolverines were the ones that were pioneering extended range weaponry that ended up being the foundation of clan technology. And in many ways, they had started experiments that would end up inspiring the Coyotes to create Omnimech technology. Uh,
Like the enhanced ERPPC being unironically probably better than the actual ERPPC itself.
yes. Now, go to the Steel Vipers. Okay, these guys were nominally considered wardens because they saw themselves as, oh, we need to protect the inner sphere from themselves, and we're going to work with the house leaders to make the inner sphere a better place. That was what made them wardens, even though these guys were so rabidly anti-free birth. If you were a freeborn member of their clan, you were pretty much worthless in their eyes. So much so, you got a second chance to do your trial of position to become a warrior. I think the only other clan that would allow stuff like that was uh, the Smoke Jaguars. The other clans did allow you to retry a trial of position as a warrior, but one lower. So if you couldn't make it as a mech warrior, let's try you as a fighter pilot or infantry or some other position.
Ooh, you got put in the other checkbox.
Yeah, and but like I said, each of the 20 original clans, we ended up losing the Mongooses, which was another one of the clans that harassed the shit out of the blood spirits and caused them to become even more xenophobic. And you lost the Wolverines to their trial of annihilation. You lost the Widowmakers to the trial of absorption into Clan Wolf. So you had, for the longest time, only those surviving clans from the original 20. And each one had its strengths and its weaknesses. The Goliath Scorpions had so many really capable warriors, they didn't know what the heck to do with them. So they introduced the whole, here, drink this poison, see if it kills you or not.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Well, how do you feel? I saw where a Starleague cache is hidden at. I'm sure you did, bucko. I'm sure you did.
I met God, and he said we need to kick Wolf's ass.
I'm sure he did, bucko. Let's do it.
And let's see, then you had Clan Burrock, which they also were. They weren't all arounders, but they were into the whole hit and run combat style. You know, they were a light to medium force. Nowhere near like the Ice Hellions, who focused heavily on light and medium mechs that were all about speed, being fast. I got to be fast, got to be fast, got to be fast, got to be fast, got to be fast.
Your Fire Moth 8-year-olds on meth.
Yes, okay, the best way of describing the Ice Hellions to people, think of somebody who has both ADHD, autism, and they're freebasing speed. And then you get a pretty good idea of the Ice Hellions. They were all about instant gratification. Let's go kick some major butt. I don't care how if
Oh,
I don't care.
in that regard, you're forgetting also. So basically, ADHD, instant gratification. Also, you're 3 years old and you have no concept of things like delayed. You have no concept of emotional regulation. So the minute someone says, "I really don't think you're that bright," or "I really don't think you're as good as you think you are," you have a cataclysmic meltdown.
Exactly. That's why they called after the Hellions lost their position in revival. They had what was referred to as the Hellion tantrum when they went on the warpath and conquered a huge tract of clan space, and they didn't know what they.
Yeah,
Okay, how are we going to hold on to this?
that's the neat part. You don't.
And the funny thing is, I unironically, I love the Ice Hellions. I think they're fucking cute.
I mean, who was it? I think it was Plog was commissioned a while back to do a series of sketches to show what various clan critters looked like the Nova Cat, and how the Smoke Jaguar was like, "Oh wow, this cat has more muscle mass than Arnold Schwarzenegger at Mr. Olympia. You really
Yeah.
don't want to mess with this cat." And then there's the Ice Hellion, and it's like this little scaly reptilian snow living chicken thing, and it's like, oh, it's precious. It's also
Yeah.
like a little piranha chicken that will just like cock gobble you in like 5 seconds.
Yep, and they also are good at teamwork. you know, and the fact when you see them in combat, they're poetry in motion, like the song says. They were just terrifying in combat. And the Ice Hellion clan, that's what they wanted to be.
So
So,
essentially, they are the mech version of a piranha swarm.
yes, they are pack hunters. They are, and they believe in hit and run cavalry style tactics.
Even though Zellbriggen says that it should be up to the individual warrior, they'll still swarm if they absolutely. As soon as you slip up and let Zellbriggen go, like they'll piranha swarm.
They
Mhm.
will bait you into breaking the rules of Zellbriggen, and then they will go back to what they know best.
Well,
Yep.
honestly, I think that's a signifier of a great warrior right there. Is that if you can bait your opponent into breaking the Zellbriggen, that just means that you're the skillful opponent, in my opinion.
Yep.
I
Like I
wouldn't
said,
I
that's one
wouldn't
of the
deny
reasons
that.
why I like them. They were
Because
pretty
because
interesting.
and the reason for that is because through it all, you didn't have to take the bait. You knew they were baiting you into punching you in the face. You knew they were baiting you into ganging into a focused fire. You knew what they were doing. You
Hmm.
did it anyway. You fell for it. That's your own stupid dumbass fault. They did nothing wrong, and they won the trial fair and square after you broke Zellbriggen.
Yep, and that's
I mean, when
that
the Ice Hellions do that, it's like Kevin Gates on stage. I quote the great warrior poet Kevin Gates. You knew what I was when you got with me.
yep, and they're like I said, guys, they're one of my favorite clans because of that. I mean, they're they're wild. Okay, that's how I can put it. They're wild. Now,
They are truly something else.
then you've got
And when you build, I'm sorry, real quick, but when you're building a list for Clan Ice Hellion, it's like, oh wow, there's a lot of fast mechs with firepower in here. I'm talking the Hellion itself, which yeah, I kind of shy away from it because a 35 tonner shouldn't cost as much as an assault mech when I put a 3.5 pilot on it. I
yep,
mean a 3.4 pilot on it. There's no like, why does your light mech have to cost this much? Please justify this existence to me.
That
Um,
sounds terrifying once it hits the field.
yes,
the okay, real quick, the Hellion Prime, I think it's like 7 11 7 with mask. So half your battle value is in that big ass engine, a ton of jump jets, and that mask to boost that speed to 7, 11, 14, 7. Of course, but I've said it before on ATN streams, is that battle value really punishes folks who run both mask and jump jets. But then the Hellion, it's got like, I think the Hellion Prime, it's like 4 heavy medium lasers. So there's 40 damage right there. And then it's a bunch of Streak SRM2s and all that fun stuff. So like real ammo efficient, real high ammo efficiency plus high damage plus high TMMs through jumping and running equals the Hellion Prime ends up coming out to, like, I think if you put a 3-4 pilot, it's in the, I could have a Warhammer. I could probably have 2 Warhammers with 5-6 pilots on them instead of one little light mech jumping around. It's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. And now that's the Ice Hellions. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at the biggest rivals that the Wolves have, the Jade Falcons. The Jade Falcons are also good all-arounders. They don't focus on a single cast above all others. They've got a decent naval force. They've got a decent aerospace force. They got a decent conventional ground forces. They got decent elementals, and they've got decent battle mechs. They don't single just one out over any other. They are also very tradition minded and literal minded.
Someone's alarm's going off. Is it nap?
Yeah.
Is it time to wake up from nap time?
No, I've got to get going to an IRL RPG game.
Okay. Well, anytime you want to continue this discussion, Red, you're more than welcome to just drop me a line if you want to on Discord. Shoot me a friend request, and we'll be able to set something up to where we can actually do more of these talks. Because
Fair
talking
enough.
about these guys is fun for me. I enjoy it. As the people on my channel,
Giving you an excuse to.
no, I'm a cripple. I'm home all the time. Yes, we're snowed in right now. It's still snowing outside because I think we got about 8 inches out right about now. So yeah, we're having fun here at the moment. And the House of Spake, we now have a brand spanking new heating system. They installed it yesterday.
Oof, very nice.
That's good.
Yeah, we were without heat all week.
Oh,
Lord, where and without doxing
that's-
yourself, what is your general geographical area?
I'm in the area around Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, good God! I picked up my load at the Adidas distribution center in Spartanburg yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
And come to find out, Spartanburg was about to get like 10 inches of snow, and the Outer Banks were about to get 20. And I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yep.
I was like, no, we're getting the fuck out of here.
And like I said, everybody knows me because I go by my real name, Richard Alvin Spake. Everybody knows I live in the area around Charlotte, a little place called Waxhaw. I'm not worried about being doxxed because I'm being me here. So I'm not asking you guys to do the same thing. That's why I'm respecting Big Red M38 by calling him Red, and I'm calling you Tanky. It's all.
Hey, what's up?
We're here to have fun and talk about fun stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
My
But,
channel
like I said,
is all about that. Is talking about the stuff we love.
I've got to get going. I'd love to talk to you guys, but prior engagements.
All right,
Have
it's
a nice
all
night,
good,
y'all.
brother.
Stay safe out there.
You too.
Hey,
remember
be nice
to
to
share
your
the
mom.
stuff you love with others, man. This world
Will
needs
do.
more love in it.
And be
See
nice
y'all.
to your moms.
Yes.
And your dads, too. You got to be nice to your dad as well.
Yep. Well, let's see. Where were we? We were talking about the Jade Falcons, the green big turkeys. Though I will give them this. Their banking is terrifying.
They're what?
they're bankers. You know, their whole banking setup that they set up for themselves is terrifying. Um, in the way of the clans, it talks about how each of the different clans, different caste operated, and they were talking about, you know, everybody knows how much power that the merchant caste has with the diamond sharks slash sea foxes, and the one place that the merchant caste has power when it comes to the Jade Falcons is their banking. After they got kicked out, even before they got kicked out of the clan homeworlds, their bankers were terrifying. And then when they got kicked out, they basically took all of their treasuries and put them in those big, huge bank ships and kept them mobile so nobody'd be able to steal their money. And I thought that was pretty cool. I keep looking at the Smoke Jaguars, and all I can think of is brutality for brutality's sake.
Yeah.
And they were all about ultimate over. See, what's the word I'm looking for? Overwhelming firepower, and getting it into position to where they can just drop it on your head. And
It's like with the Smoke Jaguars, it's one of those things where it's like their scientists basically operate off of the principle of, look, they told us to make this thing, we're just trying not to get beaten up. Like,
yeah,
they're literally the scrawny little 1980s nerd caricature, and the Smoke Jaguars are the 1980s jock caricature. And they're like, you gonna build this for us, and you gonna like it. And if you don't, we're gonna whoop your ass. We're gonna give you swirlies and wedgies until you build the thing for us. Okay, fine, we'll do it. We built you the
exactly.
stone rhino. Are you happy? We love it. And their scientists are like, we low-key based it off of an Ameris design. Dude, that was so sick. They'll never know.
Yep. And I mean, it's like whenever it got out that the Clan Wolf was developing the Dire Wolf, and the rumor was this is supposed to be the ultimate fighting war machine, and the wolves, and as soon as the Jaguars found out about it, they started trialing for it, and the wolves were like, "Oh shit, they're going to keep coming until they take it away from us." And so they worked out the agreement to where, okay, we'll share it with you, but we still have the right to build it ourselves.
It was one of those things where they're like, dude, we've said that it's the most ultimate fighting machine, the most ultimate assault mech ever, but like, there's several different metrics behind that statement, number one, and then number two, we don't actually know if we want it. Trial.
Yep. And I mean, it's
okay, fine. We'll share it with you. How about that? You guys can build it too. How about that? Okay, this is good. And then Iron Cheetah, and then they end up building the Iron Cheetah. I mean, because it got canonized as a result of Il Clan and the Curetans getting access to it after Bulldog and whatnot. It's like, hey, you know, maybe the Iron Cheetah's a good mech too, and then ultimately the Wolves end up building the Tomahawk and the Tomahawk 2, and it's like, I mean, saying that this is the ultimate assault mech is like, that's like a matter of perspective, really. It's really a matter of perspective.
And I mean, the clans are they can be so much fun, even if I disagree vehemently with their ideology. They're still fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, the ultimate assault mech is like, okay, well, what do the Ice Helions think the ultimate assault 100-tonner should be? Oh, well, it needs to go 4.6. It should be an Omni. It should have devastating. It's you know, it should be able to do a multitude of roles, but ultimately being an Omni mech, it's going to be able to do, you know, basically whatever we need it to do, but it goes 4.6. It runs 40 kilometer an hour, it runs 60 kilometer an hour. That is our ultimate assault. Okay, congrats. You guys like the you guys would like the Iron Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Jade Falcon be like, as fast as it can go, but it needs jump jets hard mounted. Congrats, you guys built the Turkina. Like, you don't need a 100-tonner when you have the Turkina.
Yep. Now, to me, my favorite mech has been the Thunderbolt
Mhm.
and the Wolverine. Those are my two favorite mechs. To me, they're awesome. I freak people out whenever they say you can modify your Thunderbolt however you want for this game. And I look at them and say, are you positive? Yes. All right. In your mind's eye, I want you to picture a Wolverine with the same armor capacity as a Thunderbolt.
Oh shit!
That's how I modified my Thunderbolt. It's a
Nice.
585 modification. Yeah, I reduced the LRM-10 to an LRM-5, and I dance all across the fucking battlefield. I have made people in tournaments at conventions where we're doing a pickup game between the big official games, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Are you sure you're going to let me play my Thunderbolt the way I've got it modified?" And they're like, "Yes." Okie dokie. Start out,
That's all
they
you.
don't
That's on
realize
you, boo boo.
that I don't start using the jump jets, and if I do use the jump jets, they usually think, oh, it's just the Iridani Light Horse version. It's only until when they start seeing me moving 585 do they actually realize, wait, what? Can I see your sheet? And I hand it to the referee, and he actually takes the time to read it, and then he goes, oh shit.
No, he built a
This is
585 jumping. He built a 585 Thunderbolt that's armed like a Wolverine, but has the armor and tonnage of a Thunderbolt. Well,
mhm.
it's bold strategy, Cotton. Good luck to you.
Yep. And I mean, I've still got my ER PPC, my three mediums, the LRM-5, and I can take damage and I can dish it out. I just have to be very careful that I don't overdo my jump jets.
Yeah.
But I can actually make the battlefield. I can make it work to my advantage, and I love it. But then again, I love cavalry tactics. They're it's one of the reasons why I love uh, the Hellions and uh, Hell's Horses, because those are the two clans that really, other than the Burricks, that use cavalry tactics so heavily. Um, see, I don't know if it's easy to tell. My least favorite clan is the Smoke Jaguars. Though I love a lot of the imagery that the Jaguars have.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they got a big pretty cat as their totem. But then again, I love cats.
Yeah.
So it's one of the reasons why Nova Cat is one of my all-time favorite clans. It's like, give me my cat back.
I
But I
liked
also,
how the in Mech Assault 2,
mm-hmm,
the first mech I saw from that was the Nova Cat, and I said,
mm-hmm,
"Hey, this mech looks really really cool." Then mid 2000s, I think it was about 7th grade, I get introduced to Clicky Tech. I said, "Hey, I'm going to go to eBay and I'm going to get a lot of these little models of these little units and run with them. What one should I go with?" And I happened across a Spirit Cat slot that had a Nova Cat heavy mech in it, and I said, "Hey, you know what? This mech is real."
yep,
And I have been a Nova Cat fan ever since. Even
yep,
in their death, I still love the Nova Cats.
yep. And the funny thing is, they're not, of the clans that are supposedly had been annihilated. They're the one that actually took off with their the repository.
Yeah.
When they disappeared, they had their legacy with them and all their knowledge as well as all of their genetic material, and they took off running. And so they actually have the ability to rebuild. That was the one thing that the Smoke Jaguars didn't have. In my mindset, post Jaguar Annihilation, the Star League, the second Star League, would have given all of those blood rights that they had access to, all the Mongoose and Smoke Jaguar bloodlines. Reward Wolf in Exile and the Nova Cats with those bloodlines. Plus giving them representation on the Star League Council. That's one of the things that I did in my alternate jihad. It was one of the reasons why the Word of Blake lost their ever-loving shit and decided to declare their the jihad.
Yeah,
was the fact that the Wolf in Exile and Novacat were given full voting rights, and they weren't. And then they got upset that the Ghost Bears were offered a seat on the council. All because of what the Word of Blake did with attacking Outreach and using nukes on Outreach. You know, it's like, bad Word of Blake. Bad Word of Blake. Bad. You know,
yeah.
with the spray bottle. Now, of course, my version of the jihad was not as many stand-up fights, but it was mostly a guerrilla warfare jihad, which would be a hell of a lot more realistic in my book. But, you know, that's just the way I would have played it. And, of course, I think people would have actually enjoyed my version of the jihad a hell of a lot better. But, you know, that's just me looking at it and saying it.
Yeah.
Because
my baby's always the perfect baby. They should have gone with my baby instead.
And, I mean, the second Star League actually had the chance to work. That's the thing that gets me about it. If it hadn't been for the both the Fed Sons and the Lyrans, you know, after the FedCom Civil War, basically saying, hey, we can't do shit right now, so we're going to leave. It became a house of cards falling down. My concept was to save it. Victor was able to talk his siblings into sticking around, just pushing for a modification to where we need to deal with stuff internally for a little while, so we're still going to vote. We're just not going to be able to give you money during this period. And to get this to get through, they would then turn to the Magistry of Canopus, the Taurians, and the Outworlds Alliance and say, here's your seats, and we're going to give you voting rights. And have them come in and then put pressure on the Capellans. Hey, why aren't you showing up to vote? You've got 2 fucking seats. You've got the seat from when you were still the Capellan Confederation, and you've also got that second seat from when you had the St. Ives Compact, because that's 2 seats that you've got, 2 votes that you've got. Why aren't you here voting? That was how I was able to, in my alternate reality.
Where does the Magistracy of Canopus fall in with the Capellan Confederation then, as I mute myself again?
Well, okay. Because of what they went through during Bulldog, they should have actually had full voting rights anyway. Because remember, their heir went and fought the clans on the clan's home turf, and she got killed.
Who was that? I didn't know that their heir went and got killed fighting the clans in the clan homeworlds.
The original Danny Centrella that Murder Barbie was named after.
Did not know this, and I actually read those books too. So I'll have to I have to pay attention next time I read it.
Yeah, she was killed. I think I can't remember which clan she was killed fighting, but I think it was Smoke Jaguars. But I can't remember who she. I think she was killed during the Great Refusal. Let me look it up right quick. Go over to the Sarna wiki and pull her up right quick. Even with all the woke craziness that they've brought over onto the wiki, I still think that they've got some pretty good stuff, you know. Do. Come on, bring it up, bring it up. Deny. Excuse me. Do. Where's it at? Because they named.
I'm back.
Because they named Murder Barbie after her.
Right.
And come on, open it up. Sorry, my internet's running slow at the moment.
Oh, you good?
At
At least you have internet. I've got 3 kids over here. Every single one of them is on a tablet or a game system. So I'm actually running off of phone data because otherwise I would not be able to participate in a stream. Or I just came over here from watching Arch's stream. He has the author of Trailer Park Elves on, and I was having to watch that on data because the Wi-Fi is currently indisposed.
Oh wow! All right, it says here she was killed during. Let's see, she personally took part in the Great Refusal.
Yeah.
She was fighting against the remains of Smoke Jaguar alongside Prince Victor.
And this is the original Danny, right?
Yes.
Is it Danny or is it Deny? I can never get it right.
I always say it Danny, but everybody else says it's pronounced different. But remember, I'm a Southerner and I speechify a little differently.
Right, you are.
But yeah, she was killed by a Warhawk clan PPC shot to her cockpit.
Ouch. That will most definitely no, we can't put her back together, dude. She's gone.
Yep. And the funny thing is,
toasted.
She's
not even toasted. We are currently breathing. If you go to that planet, you might breathe her in.
Yeah. It said here that she also, a lot of the the Canopians loved her because she was not really all that cool about the Sun Tzu Lao and his influence that he was exerting.
You know, I can kind of see that.
Yep. Now, she is, like I said, this is my alternative of the jihad. You know, the people I've shared it with think, hey, that actually sounds like it would have been pretty cool, and it sounds like it would have worked, and it also would have allowed the Second Star League to have a baptism of fire of fighting off the Word of Blake jihad, and it would have allowed the comm guards to be able to go out on a high note and end up becoming the core of the official Star League Defense Forces instead of basically just disappearing overnight. And but yeah, the concept of the Republic of the Sphere was interesting, though it really should have been the rebirth of the Terran hegemony. That way you would have a seat that the Second Star League would have been able to have instead of literally a rotating capital. But yeah. And because I'm sorry, it's one of my favorite campaigns to play in Battletech was the Liberation of Terra.
Mm-hmm.
When they released that during the Arma Silver War. Playing that was just, oh my god, fun. Um, it had so much to it, and the whole liberating Terra from the Word of Blake was also a very fun campaign to play. Um,
I've never gotten to play in such a campaign, but I imagine it would be pretty freaking rad.
yeah, it's one of those things that I miss having people I could game with. I really do.
Yeah.
It sucks being a cripple and not be able to go anywhere unless somebody comes and gets you and takes you there.
I
It
can't imagine. I can imagine so. Yeah.
I don't wish this on anybody. It's one of the reasons why I talk with so many people that are also disabled, and it's one of those things that we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was talking about is I've actually got an idea for a business. It's a daycare for us old cripple people. And
Yeah.
all right, this is my plan for the daycare. You got a place where us crippled people can get together and hang out. It's got video games, board games, role playing games, food, snacks, strippers. I think I just found the part that makes you go, "Can I be a cripple too?"
I mean, this honest to God just sounds like a Gen X old folks home, but with extra steps. We're not calling it the old folks home. We're calling it the Gen X, the crippled Gen X daycare.
Yes, that works. That works. I mean, the Gen X generation. I mean, we're the last free range kids, man.
I gotta put. Actually, we got to break away from the BattleTech discussion for a second, and I got to give you a little bit of pushback. I am so tired of these Gen Xers going, "You millennials don't know about, you know, going home before when the street lights coming on being your signal to go home." Yeah, we do. That's how it was for me here in that's how it was for me here in small town Alabama.
No, that's
Like,
because you're rural, man.
well,
Us rural, us
my
rural kids.
small town. So I also got to push back a little bit on Jason Aldean when he did his little try that in a small town stunt.
Yeah,
Um, Lancaster, California, where I was born, was more of a small town in 1991 than Macon, Georgia was in 1991, where he was born. Don't know if he was born in 91 or not. Either way, Lancaster and Palmdale were smaller towns than Macon, Georgia was back then. Um, my small Alabama town where I grew up was more of and is still more of a small town than his, with a population of 3,000 ish as of the 2022 survey. And then the current small town that I live in is 12 to 1,500 on any given day. So yeah, I have been. Oh, and then Huntsville, Alabama is, while it's a big town, is still more of a small town than his. So I am 4 or 5 times more small town than Jason Aldean ever was from Macon, Georgia. And I drive through Macon, Georgia a lot. That is not a small town. So I don't know what he's talking about. Try that in a small town, because I'm like, in Macon, Georgia, you guys would just call the cops and hope for the best. So screw you. But no, dude, like we weren't that small of a, we weren't my hometown. I say hometown, I was born in Lancaster, but my hometown here in Alabama um is not that big of a town.
And
yeah.
yet,
Oh, you're breaking up.
oh,
Back to the Gen X millennial thing, like we still knew when the streetlights came on, that was when it was time to go home. We did in fact drink water out of the hose. We drank water out of the hose. During in the summertime, we would only come in if it was like, okay, it's way too hot. You guys got to come in now. Or what was it? blah blah blah. Fudge, dude. I lost my train of thought because I just got a phone call. Um, if it's either way too hot or hey, it's time to come in, get a sandwich, get a PB&J or a ham and cheese, put the Doritos inside of the ham and cheese so it's crunchy, eat that, and then get the hell out of the house before Days of Our Lives comes on. All right, you got to be out of the house before Days of Our Lives comes on. All right, that's just all there is to it. And then
You
yeah,
grew
man,
up the way
we're
I grew up.
outside. We're outside. We're drinking water. We're picking up sticks and shooting each other with the stick guns,
Mhm.
toy guns, all that good stuff. I mean, so like when the Gen Xers come out and say, "You millennials don't know what it's like," I'm sitting here and I'm like, a lot of us millennials actually do, in fact, know what it's like, old man. It's,
Well,
is what it
we're
is.
so used to dealing with the millennials that grew up in the big cities that
Mhm.
didn't have that.
Yeah.
It's like I said, you grew up in a rural area, so yeah, you got the Gen X free range uh,
Oh, dude,
childhood.
I'll tell you what. Whenever we would go out to Grandma and Grandpa's house, I would go down. Like I have a brother, but I would go down to the creek by myself, and I would sit there at the creek for hours, man, just playing in the creek water, just sitting there building rock and stick and mud forts, and I would be sat there for hours, man, just not doing anything. It was the best. Hell yeah. So but yeah, I am familiar with all of those little concepts and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, growing there is a let's talk that I've been planning on doing. Uh, let's talk about Saturday morning cartoons because so
now
many of
now I will tell you that is where I get lost at, because a lot of our Saturday morning cartoons were either uh 80s like I don't know of any network growing up that actually had the GI Joes on there.
yeah,
All right, I never got to see GI Joe on the Saturday morning cartoons and whatnot. That just wasn't a thing for us. But we did get Tailspin, we did get SWAT Cats, we
hmm
did get those type shows. So we did have that going on for us, which was pretty good.
yeah, and because my generation, Saturday morning cartoons was the one thing we would spend Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays on the school bus ride
Hmm.
talking about it because we would actually plan out. Okay, you're going to be watching ABC, you're going to be watching CBS, and you're going to be watching NBC cartoon Saturday morning cartoons.
Hmm.
And then your job when it came up was saying what happened on those cartoons. So
Oh,
everybody,
I'm gonna break your heart after you're done telling this. I'm actually gonna break your little Gen X heart.
we had. It wasn't until VHS came out that we didn't have to do that as much
Yeah.
because but still, you had somebody who was assigned. We would assign people with the VHSs to record Saturday morning cartoons, and then we would trade those tapes around. And I mean, kids nowadays they don't. They're like, oh,
No,
if I want to
no,
watch cartoons, I just
no, no,
go
no,
get
no, no, no,
me.
no, 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 my guy. When you say kids these days, I'm going to tell you because I have the kids these days. Where would you like the blanket? Over here? You got it. Oh, where she's laying. Hi, baby. Sorry, I had to bring the blanket out here for the dog. We have a corgi named Fern, and she is the biggest scaredy cat. Anyway, no, because I do have kids. The kids these days, I do have them. Media, and I'm going to preface this with I was on my drive the other night. I was listening to the Razor Offensive with Razor and who's his little butt buddy, Taron Gell. Yeah, I like them, but I mean, come on, that's his little butt buddy, unlike other than Mage Leader. Anyway, so I'm listening to it, and a question pops up about um, do you think that movies are the way they are to do you think media is the way it is today because of kids having less of an attention span? And immediately I was like, yes, 100%, because um, they media. at least from where I'm sitting at, media is so decentralized. When I get my son every other weekend,
Mhm.
so I get my son every other weekend, and I have my stepson all the time, right? When my son comes over, outside of Fortnite and a few little things, they are speaking two entirely different languages. My
Mhm.
stepson, henceforth son number two, because he's younger than my biological son. So henceforth son number two. Son number two watches these shows on this streaming service. My son watches these shows on this streaming service. As a millennial, for us, it was, hey, on these days, yeah, we're going to be watching Nickelodeon.
Mhm.
Um, but otherwise, we're all watching Toonami. So when we go back to school the next day, we're up on what happened on Zoids. Because we got introduced to Zoids with the one where they are in the arena, the arena dueling one with Liger Zero and all that.
Yeah.
So we're up on what happened on this episode of Zoids today, what happened on Gundam 8 the Mess Team, what happened on this Gundam Wing, what happened on Dragon Ball Z. Hell, dude, we like Sailor Moon came on before DBZ and Gundam and all that. So it was like, Sailor Moon's on before it, but like low key, like looking back, we're like, yeah, dude, Sailor Moon fucking ripped, dude. We love Sailor Moon. Like
Yeah.
Sailor Jupiter. Oh, yes, please, mommy. Yes, yes. And by the way, we were in elementary school, so it's totally okay that they were in high school and we were in elementary school. You know what I'm saying? It was like the pretty cheerleader who's telling us not to do drugs. You know, but yeah, no, so like we would come back to school the next day and or on that Monday, and it's like we're all up on Ed, Edd n Eddy, we're all up on Hey Arnold, we're all up on SWAT Cats, we're all up on Gundam, DBZ, all that. Like everyone other, and then like the only real niche thing was like the really redneck kids are they're
Mhm.
even the really redneck kids, not only are they up on that, but they're also up on what happened on WWE. Was it WWE or what was it pre 9/11? Was it WWE or
WWF.
WWF?
Yeah.
Okay,
WWF.
you know what? But you know what? It can be whatever it needs to be. They're all up on what happened in pro wrestling. They're all up, and then the really bad kids, they're up on what happened on the X Files. But we didn't talk to them because we couldn't watch X Files because our moms and dads didn't let us watch X Files.
Yeah.
And then like the few like truly nerdy kids who were being raised by like the early computer programmers and like defense contractors before BRAC happened,
Mhm.
moved all those jobs to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, and then brought in like the real smart kids. Those kids were up on what was happening on Next Generation and Bab 5. But through it all, we were all up on the same cartoons on Cartoon
Mhm.
Network and Nickelodeon. And now when my son comes over, like I said, when my son comes over, outside of the new Pokemons, because Pokemon's still going on. I don't know if you know this or not, but Pokemon is still happening for some reason. Somehow it's still happening. But so while they're up on that and Fortnite and whatnot, and like whatever the big kids movies are, like Zootopia 2 and Bad Guys 2, which low key to your audience, those are actually pretty good movies. They do kind of rip.
Yeah. See, I love.
Um,
I want to see Zootopia 2 so bad it's not even funny. I've got.
Dude, honest, there is a part in Zootopia 2. Did you watch The Martian?
Yes.
There is a part in Zootopia 2 where I laughed because it was not only was it a throwback to what happened in the Matt Damon The Martian, but also a throwback to Disney's The Martian, which was on the Disney Channel back in the day. There is a part in there that is a throwback to both those movies, tied them both together, where I was like, oh wow, we're putting call outs for the millennial parents in movies now, in addition to the Gen X and boomer grandparents and great grandparents who are also taking kids to the movies. I love it. Zootopia 2. No, I'm talking about Bad Guys 2. Bad Guys 2 positively rips, dude. You have to watch it.
Now I've seen Bad Guys, the first one. I've not seen 2 yet. Uh, I want to, but then again, I still love cartoons. They're I just find them
Yeah.
fun. And for the longest time, I would my my sister and brother-in-law would be asking me, can our kids watch this?" Because they knew I went to go see it.
Yeah.
And if the movie was good enough, I would buy it as soon as it came out on DVD or Blu-ray. Then I'd take it down and watch it with my mom and my baby sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they would keep it so whenever my niece and nephews would be down there, they would have movies for them to watch.
Yeah.
I've got thousands of Blu-ray and DVDs in my house. My friends
Nice.
used to joke about the fact I lived in a Blockbuster because I collected these movies. Because
And you see back in the day, that was like, it was right up there with, like, you know, collecting action figures, collecting toys, this, that, the other. But nowadays,
Mhm.
it's like, dude, I don't know when Netflix is going to have this back on or not. Hell, I don't even know if they're going to take it down or not. Like, can I borrow this? Like when my grandma died, my uncle died. I've got like nah, I don't want to exaggerate. Maybe like 350 DVDs.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, we should throw these. I'm like, no, 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 because that one right there, you can only watch this with the premium subscription on Amazon Prime. That one right there, you have to pay extra to watch it on Paramount Plus, this, that, the other. I'm like, no, we have to keep the physical. You have no choice but to keep the physical media around, dude.
And the digital streaming services have been known to change shit without letting anybody
I've
know.
seen it. I have seen it with my own. Matter of fact, so trucker, you know, I hated skipping ads on YouTube. I hate that I have to give money to Google, but I have YouTube Premium. It is what it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to go back and listen to the sound of my own voice on ATN streams, right? Or
Yep.
hell, even on this stream. So I'll go back and listen to this stream again on Monday and critique my own voice and all that good stuff, because I'm just an arrogant little narcissistic cunt like that. Wait, do we say the C word on this chat?
Yeah, you can, because my
Okay.
son is in the UK, and the UK uses the C word as an adjective just as much as they do in Australia. And shrubby is one of he's from Australia, and he's on here all the time, and he also uses it. But yeah,
It's such a beautiful word. It's just a beautiful word, dude. I don't know why people don't use it more often. But anyway, all that aside. So I pay for YouTube Premium. Well, YouTube Premium, I don't know if a lot of folks know this or not, but you can watch movies on YouTube. The kicker is I noticed when I was watching what was the last movie I watched? I watched Heat. That was the last movie I watched on YouTube Premium. Okay, cool. Well, the thing with Heat was there was a lot of parts where I could tell they were skipping over something Al Pacino was saying. They were skipping over something that oh god, what's his name? Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy? God dang it. Bottom line is there's a lot of stuff when you watch a movie on YouTube that gets cut or censored or edited. And I'm like, okay, they're doing this on YouTube. I know for a fact then that they're doing this on the other ones. This is not okay. This is not cool, man. And so yeah, you've got to keep your physical media, like you've got to keep that. You've got to keep your CDs, you've got to keep your vinyls. Those are cool anyway, but you've also got to keep your DVDs, and hell, you've got to keep your VHSs as well.
Yep,
You
I've got
know,
a
it
big
is
box
what it
of
is.
VHS up in the attic right now.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to keep those. If you don't, man, who knows when I'll give you one. I watched this movie with my grandma as a kid. Lady Hawk. Do you remember that movie?
Yep, Lady Hawk was
Where can
awesome, man.
It was awesome. I was a kid and I was blown away. Where can you find Lady Hawk on a streaming service? I'll give you a minute. Where can you find Lady Hawk on a streaming service?
You can't.
There you go. There you go. What about what was that one? Some German soldiers are in a castle and there is a monster in there. I think it's like the Keep or the Beast or something like that.
Keep. That's the Keep.
Okay.
That had.
Where can you find that? Where can you find that on a streaming service?
I don't think you can. I
There
honestly
you
don't
go.
think you can.
There you
It,
go. There you go.
it's and the messed up thing is that was such a good movie. It was one of the first movies I saw Jurgen Prochnow play in back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because
Where can you
for most
find the
people,
original? Where can you find the original Dirty Dozen?
that's a hard one to find on a streaming service.
There you go. You
Um,
have to preserve physical. We're a Battletech stream where we have to, and we're talking about preserving physical media. But you know what? Such is life. Such is life.
yep. And hey, that goes. BattleTech also covers that type of stuff. I mean, look at the okay, 3025 BattleTech setting, how messed up the tech levels were. You had planets where people, yeah, you had big stompy robots, aerospace fighters, nuclear missiles, but you still had people getting around on horse-drawn carriages.
The cover of City Tech, I believe it's City Tech, has an archer crashing across a bridge, and there is a wrecked T-55. Not even a fancy schmancy upgrade T-55, like a AM2 or something. Nope, it is a bog standard T-55 just chilling on a bridge. And I believe there's also artwork where they're holding AK-47s as well. So it's like, holy shit! In the far future, we still have AK.
Yep. And BattleTech to me had that. It was the quintessential 80s sci-fi, hard sci-fi game.
Yeah.
You had men and women that were scantily clad inside their battle mechs because, well, the heat buildup was so bad. Wearing regular
Yeah.
clothes would give you heat stroke.
That's why I sit here and I see how the new Neuro helmets and stuff look, and I'm like, but no, they're not supposed to look like they're piloting an F-35. That's not how they looked. Why are we changing this? I don't like this.
Well, I get that part because of the fact the big bulky neuro helmets was because technology had fallen behind.
Yeah.
And then when you get the Star League, because they did show the Star League neuro helmet back in the original stuff, and it was more like those that we see in the F-35 fighter helmets. Or
Yeah.
actually, a better description is the helmets worn by the Apache helicopter pilots.
Yeah.
Now, then you had the fact that the clans kept developing the technology and miniaturizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when the clans was first introduced. You've grown up with the clans.
Yeah, I'd say so.
When
That
the
is a fair assessment.
when the clans first showed up, the majority of the people who wanted to play the clans were the min maxers, who all they cared
Well,
about
did you even have min maxers back in the 90s though?
yes,
Really?
yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We also had these things called rule lawyers.
Oh, those have been a thing though.
I'm talking rule lawyers that would argue minuscule things that were like, just let it go, dude. We're giving you the ability to play this. Just let it go. You've got the right to play it now. Just let it go. That was, oh man, some of the times, oh God, we actually, when I was in the Navy, we had this one guy. We enjoyed gaming with him when he would game.
Yeah.
But then he would get into the minuscule aspects of the rules. And it's like he cared more about the procedure of the rules than he cared about the fun of the game. But he was awesome to have around if you were like having to deal with real issues, and we would do a duel in a game.
Yeah.
And we'd put him in charge so we knew nobody was playing favorites. And but yeah, damn. It was something else, man. I'm telling you. the people I gamed with when I was in the Navy were great. My son has a hard time in a group that's any bigger than like 6 or 7 people.
6, 7.
Hey, Suzanne, and he still can't get over the fact that our gaming group when I was in the Navy had almost 20 something people in it.
Oh, good Lord. That's a tournament scene at that point.
And the biggest reason why we had that many people was you had a rotating cast, whenever people had time off to be able to game. So you had people coming and going all the time. But whenever we were in port and we were able to all get together at one time and game, it made it a little different. And but like I said, it was something else. And I love gaming. I created this channel to share the stuff I love with people. I want people to be able to come on here, do our Let's Talks about various subjects. Suzanne is saying hello, Big Tanky.
Oh, hi, Suzanne.
She is one of my dear friends. She actually lives in Canada, though she wants to move
another
here.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Inside the body of every Canadian is an American trying to get free. And that's from Full Metal Jacket right there.
Yep. Well,
I know what the actual quote from the movie is. I'm a Marine. I've seen Full Metal. You can't be a Marine and not have seen Full Metal Jacket, dude.
Yeah. Well, we actually had 2 Marines that were in our gaming group.
Sweet.
I was on the USS Dwight David Eisenhower CVN 69. Booyah, that magic fucking number.
Hell yeah.
And we had 2 Marines that played. We had a 3rd Marine who would have loved to have played. Problem was, he was the gunnery sergeant for the Marine detachment.
Yeah, gunnies tend to be a little too busy for that.
Well, for the most part, he was having to hide the fact that he was a sci-fi geek. And
dude, you know how many gunnery sergeants I encountered in my time, 2014 era, who were gunnery sergeant, to the core and whatnot, and then you see them off duty and they're wearing Star Wars shirts and they're on their way to a D&D game. It's just so ubiquitous these days, for better or for worse,
Yeah, exactly, man. That was the fun part nowadays, but this was early 90s when RPGs was role-playing games and science fiction and all this stuff was.
To be a nerd was to be marked for to be a nerd was to be marked for the mega wedgie,
Yep.
I get it.
Okay, when I was in the Navy, I made extra money because people would give me money to go to see movies during the week.
Yeah.
And Friday after they were getting ready to let us out for the weekend, everybody then gather around me and say, "Okay, you went to see these movies. Which is a good movie to either take my kids to go see, take my wife to go see, take my girlfriend to go see, or just for us guys to go out and get shit-faced drunk and watch a movie for fun." And that was what I would do during the week. And so I made a fracking fortune doing that because they would give me the full amount for movie tickets, and then I would turn around and go to the ship's recreation and buy vouchers, which was like just a couple of dollars for a voucher for a movie ticket. So they would give me like $10-15 to go see a movie. And then I would go buy a voucher for a couple of bucks. So I had all that money to put in my pocket, which that money then went to a place to go eat and put food in my belly.
Yeah, and, nice.
That was how I ended up meeting Gunnery Sergeant. We actually had okay. We had to because of the fear of Saddam Hussein using chemical weapons when we were the first ship on station, they
Yeah.
locked up everything below decks. So
Right.
people were having to get through. If you had to go below deck, you had to go through this little hatch inside the hatch.
Yeah.
And we had a chief petty officer get stuck going into the chief's mess. They had to
What is a chief petty officer again? Because I did the military thing and whatnot, but Navy ranks always confuse the shit out of me.
Petty
Why the
officer
hell are you at?
is
Yeah.
the equivalent of let's see if I remember right. Petty officer
He's an
third
E
class.
what?
Okay, E4, E5, E6, an E7.
Oh, he's a gunnery sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
He
sense.
got
Okay,
stuck.
checking.
He was so fat he got stuck in the inner hatch. They had to remove the whole hatch and take it to medical. With him hanging in it.
Dude, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
They
But
had to then go to the mess decks and get butter and grease.
oh no. No. Oh no. But
I could get him out. They couldn't get him out. They couldn't get him out. They had to do all kinds of things to get him out. And then they finally got her to pop out, and it was like, pop.
dude, that's awesome. Dude, I love it. Let's fucking go. That is sick. But hey, real quick, as I bring it back towards the whole Battletech and physical media thing, to your Canadian friend. So, when they announced Fallout Season 2, right?
Yep.
And they showed the trailer for it, there's the part in the trailer, and it's in episode 1 or 2, I think it is, the Deathclaw hand coming up from behind the car.
Yep.
The joke I made on the local server, the local Battletech server, was, I bet you when that Deathclaw comes up above the car, because they had sentient Deathclaws in Fallout,
Yeah.
I bet you the Deathclaw is going to look at them and say, "Capitalism bad. Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, I guarantee you there's going to be something like that in there. Well, this last episode of Fallout, oh my God, your Canadian friend. So it opens with the chick who is the overseer in the vault. She's been in cryo. She's over 200 years old. Well, it's her and her mom trying to escape from Canada, and her mom is dying. And she's like, "Oh no, Mom, how will I get to America without you? How will I make it in America?" And her mom looks at her. Her dying mother looks at her and says, "Honey," she says something to the effect of, "Honey, my daughter, my sweet child, if you have to hurt people, the Lord will forgive you. And don't even think of them as people. Think of them as Americans." And I heard that, and I was like, well, I didn't get my International Workers of the World Unite speech out of the Deathclaw lizard, but by God, I'll take that. Oh my, I said, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit, Amazon.
From what I have, there's a video on YouTube where a guy's talking about the people who created the Fallout show.
Yeah.
That they are big time lefty Marxist types.
Oh, to the absolute extreme are like, at this point, I don't even know why I'm watching the show, but hang on, I got to mute myself real quick, but yeah. Hey, I'm actually going to duck out of here, put my phone on charge, and eat some dinner. If you're still on when I'm done eating dinner, I'll come back. But the moral of the story is that, yeah, they are hardcore leftists, and the original creators of Fallout are like, yeah, no, it's not an indictment on capitalism. It's just we wanted to make a cool game in the post-apocalyptic world. Like, that's all there is to it. And then real quick, as far as physical media preservation, I was in it was my junior year of high school, and I got my hands on the Crusader Clans book
Yeah.
at a comic shop in Syracuse, New York, when we went up there for Christmas. Poured over it, dude. There was so much detail in there, and even though there was so much detail in that book, it still left me wanting more. I've got PDFs nowadays of not only that book, I still have the physical book, but I got PDFs of that book, the Crusader Clans, the Warden Clans. No. The book I got from the comic shop in New York was the Clans Warriors of Kerensky, the one where it's got the Timberwolf on the cover and the Clan Warriors huddled around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the book I got. And then I remember sitting there in high school, and I was reading the Clan Wolf and the Jade Falcon source books. And the cool kick-ass thing about those books is that it shows the entire order of battle of their alpha galaxies when they went to Tucaid. And not only does it list every single Omnimech, it also lists their pilots and whether they are KIA, WIA, present, or MIA.
Yep. These source books were so detailed back then.
They were awesome. And then I get my hands on Tiro 3075. And mind you, Clicky Tech player, I'm like, oh, dude, I wonder if the Atlas is... that's the Atlas 2. It kind of looks like the Atlas we have in Clicky Tech, which ultimately goes on to become the Atlas 3. But I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I'm reading it. And it says, so revered is this mech by the clans that at least 2 of them were spotted in the Jade Falcon's Toman at Tucaid. And I was like, hold on. Wait a minute. No, it was all Omnimex at Tucaid. And I know it was because I read the Jade Falcon source book, and they only had Omnimex there. And now the new Tucaid source book is like, oh yeah, they had Turkinas and they had Grendels and they had stuff that you don't see until Tiro 3056, and they had more than just Omnimex and they had second line mechs. I'm like, no, that's not. But I'm kind of torn on it because it kind of gives the clans a little more variety and a little more flavor than just, oh, everyone had Warhawks, everyone had Direwolves. Now it's like, they also had Turkinas. They had, they had this. So it's kind of a double-edged sword of whether it's good or bad. But ultimately, it's like, man, can things just be sacred and we not retcon things? Like, come on, man.
Yep. See, one of the things that I liked about the clans, was their mechs being Omnimex. They didn't need a shit ton of them.
Now, and you see, real quick, because I am about to have to go and eat my food. Otherwise, my wife is going to murder me. But and that's the other that was the one complaint I had about the Wolf and Falcon source books and their orders of battle for Tucaid. It's all Prime, A, B, C, and a few Ds. The few D variants that were available. There's plenty of opportunity for, oh, well, this star captain here who is in charge of this star or is in charge of this binary, he had his mech specialized and tricked out for his way of combat, which was this. Which is why I'm kind of down with the TC and the Sierra variants and whatnot. But it's like, why couldn't they have devoted a couple of extra pages to like record sheets for like, oh, this warrior, this Clan Wolf warrior went in and he knew that they had the logistics train behind them, so his Direwolf has 2 ultra autocannon 20s or 4 ultra autocannon 10s and a battery of medium pulse lasers to back them up and blah 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 blah. And it is said that he reloaded 6 times in one day and never stopped firing his gun. Blah, blah. Like, why couldn't they have put something like that in back in the day? But also, why couldn't they have put something like that in this day and age? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Next time we do a Battletech talk, we will definitely be talking about that.
Hell yeah.
A lot of the stuff that they're putting out right now, in many ways, is just a rehash, and they're not putting out the stuff that the fans are asking for.
Well, and you take that Tucaid book and you take those Crusader Clans books and the Warden Clans book and just the overall clan book, which granted is written from the point of view of Phelan Kell. At least the Clans Warriors of Kerensky book is written from the point of view of Phelan Kell insofar as much. But I think you were there on that stream where I turned my camera on and we went page by page of the Davion book. It's like day and night, dude. Like, yeah, the Davion book may have updated rules to bring, formation building in line with Classic and Alpha Strike, but like, there's not a lot of substance in there. And even in the description of the Davion and the Curitan militaries, it's very, very much, hey, it seems very much like, hey, take this line from this old source book, cut it, copy, paste,
Yeah.
move
I
on.
don't know what it is with Catalyst Games, man. It's almost like they're
Take this digital rendering of the longbow, yeah, and just recolor it for some unit. That'll be the full spread color. Is this longbow? Like, why the fucking longbow? But yeah, just do that with the longbow and put it in a different scene, and boom, just keep reusing these digital assets. But hey, man, I gotta go. If
right.
you're still active here in a minute, I'll hop back in and we'll keep talking and reminiscing and having a big time. But
Right.
if I don't, then I'll see you later.
All right, you be good, brother.
You too.
And like I tell everybody as they're heading out, love you, mean it. Be careful, take care, stay safe, and above all else, be blessed.
Be nice to your moms. Semper Fidelis.
Yep, y'all be good now. Well, everybody, it was great getting to have this little impromptu let's talk about BattleTech. Hope you guys had fun, and I hope you guys could hear how much we love the setting. That's what I want to do with my Let's Talk. Have people on here and we talk about stuff we love. Anybody who wants to come in and talk about any subject, drop me a line and we will set it up. In fact, this little live stream was set up within a 10-minute window. That's how quick of a turnaround we can do when possible. So, everybody, as I say, as I end these, let us go out there and be the positive change we want to see in the world. Share the stuff that you love with others because, well, this world needs a whole lot more love in it. And the only way we're going to get this world to be a better place is by being a shining example that inspires others to do good too. Be good, be blessed, and know this: you are not alone and you are loved, even if it's only by me. Y'all be good now, and I'll see you soon.